Welcome to the fifth now induction ceremony for the Lorain Schools Alumni Association Distinguished Alumni Awards. My name is Henry Patterson, and I am the president of the association. And I welcome you all from near and far back to the new Lorain High School. And as we get in the program today, what we're going to start by doing, we're going to have a brief invocation is going to be given by Tim Williams. Then we're going to have our breakfast, probably about a half an hour or so. We'll call you table by table and do the serving, and then we'll get back into the program. So without further ado, Tim, if you'd come on down.
Good morning, everyone. If you can bow your heads, please. Our gracious and Heavenly Father, we thank you for this amazing, awesome day. We thank you as we come to celebrate and honor individuals whose accomplishments have been spectacular. Now we bless you, Lord, for even the vision of this type of activity where we honor those who are due honor, who represent our communities well, and make us proud to be members of this Lorain community. Now bless us as we go through this ceremony, as we honor these individuals, and continue to give us your grace and your mercy as we go forward. We'll be careful to give you praise, honor, and glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Oh, and make sure the food tastes good.
Amen. What we're going to get, Sue, if you could go, Sue's going to come around and we'll release you table by table. Drinks are in the back. We're going to ask that you, when your table is selected, you're going to go around the back. You're going to come this way with your plates and then around. Okay, so Sue, I'll leave it to you. Thank you. Oh yeah, bring your, if I can have your attention, please. Your attention, please. We're going to go ahead and get the program started. If you would, the first thing we'd like to do is we'd like to start with a Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll get the program at that. So if everyone could please stand for a moment. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And with that, I would like to bring down the Honorable Mayor Jack Bradley for a few opening remarks. And he comes now with his mayor hat. He is not an inductee yet. He's still the mayor, okay?
So it's too bad you have to hear from me twice, but it still is a great day in Lorain, Ohio. I see that our president of council is here, and Joe Arredondo. I'm very glad to see him. Are there any other city council members here? Good. I told Carissa from the Chronicle, don't print anything that I say. When I decided to run for mayor, Dan Cook came up to me and gave me words of encouragement. He said, "What the hell are you doing?" And he was right. So anyhow, I want to welcome everybody for being here. It's a nice crowd here today, and this is really something special that was started by the committee to honor distinguished residents of the city of Lorain. Sometimes they make mistakes, but this is a very, very special day. By the way, Cliff German said if he had been running the buffet, he would have had 4 lines. He would have had everybody served in 5 minutes. Right, Cliff? Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mayor. Now, if we could have Michael Scott is going to come with remarks on behalf of Dr. Graham, the superintendent of Lorain City Schools. So, Michael Scott.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'd like to thank, first, thanking the board of the Alumni Association for putting this together. This is amazing. It is so important to be able to tell our Lorain story. It has influenced so many people, generations, and that's hugely important. So can we give a round of applause for the board? Next, congratulations to the honorees. Your legacy lives today, and it's being told through you and your family and loved ones. So I want to say congratulations to you for all that you've done and all that you continue to do to inspire the next generation of leaders in our community. So thank you, honorees. Round of applause. This is about opportunity and access. None of us stand where we are without someone believing in us and breathing opportunity into each and every one of us. And that's something, as a school district, I represent Lorain City Schools as the assistant superintendent, we want to carry that forward. Equity matters. We do not get to where we are unless someone gives us that opportunity, unless someone breathes hope into us, unless someone believes that we can. And it's so important that we tell our stories. In this day of viral information, in this day of the immediate gratification, it is so important that we understand the values of hard work, commitment, dedication, but also community. And I just want to thank you all for being a part of our community. As a Lorain graduate, I wouldn't be standing here right now without some of those that are on our list today, and many others. And we have a responsibility. We just graduated a great class of graduates, and we have students coming from behind them. We have a moral obligation as a community to inspire them. And we inspire them through our story, through our legacy, through our example. So this is an opportunity to celebrate that. And I thank you all for being here. So.
Okay, a few more until we get to the actual program. I would like to take a moment to recognize the members of the Board of Directors for Lorain Schools Alumni Association. So if you would please stand, those that are here, and hold your applause to the end. So I'll start. Missy DeAngelis, where are you at, Miss Missy? We've got Anthony Giardini in the back. We have Sue Balika. Mark Ballard is here as well. Jay Ferguson, Bill Sturgill, and myself. So please a round of applause for those that are in attendance. I also would like to take a moment, the board, we were very pleased that part of what the vision was to do was not only to honor distinguished alumni, but to raise scholarship dollars for current Lorain Schools graduates. And we're pleased to announce that this year we made 3 $500 scholarships to Madison Ann Jones, Anasaria Andre Rodriguez, and Hannah Marie Roseborough this year, so that they're going to be able to take off. I believe Kent State, Bowling Green, and I think Ohio State were the 3 schools, so we're excited about that. Again, we'd implore any of you that you were interested in making a donation in the future towards those scholarship funds. We hope to continue to build that and provide scholarships to even more students in the future as we go forward. Okay. I also, before we get to the event, I want to acknowledge, I believe we have 3 prior inductees that are here. Jacqueline Bradley, if you could stand up or at least give a wave. Harvey Herman as well as a past inductee. Mr. Herman. And Tom Bauer, also an inductee. Thank you. Again, we're very proud, and we want to continue to build and honor those that continue coming back. So with that said, without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to our Master of Ceremony, Jay Ferguson.
Good morning and welcome. It's really interesting that last week at this time, I had my 50th class reunion, and I brought about 40 class members through this building. And one of the issues that they all began with was, this isn't my high school, they tore down my high school. And I'm sure that everyone in this room has some of that feeling in them. And as we went around the building and I explained the opportunities in this building and, you know, the things that Michael said about providing for our kids, they began to understand and to appreciate what's going on. And, you know, while our high schools are gone, our high schools are here. They're not here. They're in our, you know, that's our heart that we remember them with. And so this, you know, this building is an inspiration to all. I'd like to begin by saying that Jim Andrews is a 1987 graduate of Admiral King High School. During these years at Admiral King, Jim was a member of the ski team, believe it or not, and won an award as the best skier. Jim shared the love of friends he made at Admiral King, that he stayed in touch with many in the years since he graduated. Jim said it didn't matter who you were accepted. Following high school, Jim attended Kent State University and earned a Bachelor of Arts in Science with a minor in business, the perfect degrees for a restaurateur. Almost anyone who's lived in Lorain for the past 30 years knows about Jackalope Lakeside at Oasis Marina. Well, what many don't know is that Jim got his start as a dishwasher in Vail, Colorado. At the age of 26, without any investor capital and a 13.75% small business loan and a dream, Jim opened Jackalopes on May 1st, 1996. Through personal sacrifice, prayers, luck, and the support of the people in Lorain, he was able to remain in business for 27 years. Much of his success attributing to his father for coaching him through the tough times. Jim recently reinvented the business and now runs Lake Erie Steak and Seafood at the Oasis Marina, which I can testify has the same fine quality meals as always. Jim is currently studying to become a sommelier. When he isn't running his business, he's an avid skier and hiker and enjoys time at Kelly's Island. Please welcome Jim Andrews to the Lorain Alumni Association Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame.
Thanks. Actually, none of that's true. I'm being honored today as the GOAT, which, if you know what that means, is the greatest of all time. The reason why is because I still maintain, after 36 years leaving this school, with the most detentions. So I'm honored to be the greatest of all time detention person. So, but I would like to thank my father. He was there from day one, helping me out. Did I listen? Sometimes, not all the time. And you learn from your mistakes, you know, and opening the business. I thank Tony Giardini, who some days I love him and sometimes I don't, because when it's a busy day, I'm like, why did I get in the restaurant business? But Tony helped me get into the business. It's been 27 years since I've been here. I see a lot of customers that come in, and I really appreciate your support. What I'd like to say is, you know, like I said, our friends were our friends, and we're all still friends today. Ben Fligner was my next door neighbor. Next to him was Tony Giardini. And we had a bunch of boys on the block, and we all went to Admiral King and had an excellent education. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better education. My one thing I want to say is, you know, Lorain gets a little bit of a rap with our points and our percentages where we stand. I would like to take all the teachers from Admiral King and move them into Avon and bring all the Avon teachers to Lorain and see how much the scores go up. It's not the teachers that are the problem in the city of Lorain. It's parents. Teachers are not meant to raise kids. They are actually meant to teach kids. So this is not about teachers, this is about parents. And I know it's tough for a teacher to actually open their mouth, but I do. And I don't really care. You know, and that's what needs to be done, is that we have to have parents that care. You know, if I got in trouble at school, my biggest fear wasn't getting paddled. Mine was them calling my dad afterwards, and then that's when Dad came home early for dinner. So, and then we go out and play basketball in the yard. So, but that's what it takes to have a community, and Lorain's got a great community. And I'll be real quick, but a story that is very sentimental to me was a guy named Sam, and he lived all over the country. And he lived on Lakeside Avenue right by the restaurant, and he worked for the environmental agency. And he was here for 8 years. And Sam was in my bar every day, single. So he'd have dinner at my bar, have a couple drinks, and got to know everybody in the restaurant as time went on. And after so many years, he left, and he got transferred again. He moved on to Nashville, Tennessee. And I don't know, 2 years later, Sam came back. He was in his 60s, and he brought friends with him from Tennessee and a couple people that were his family. And he came up, and my eyes lit up, loved to see him. And we sat, and we had some drinks, drank some wine, had dinner with him, with his family, two kids, and 2 people he brought up from Nashville, Tennessee. And I'll never forget what he said to me. It's gonna be tough. I've never met more truer, nicer people in my entire life, and I've lived all over the country. And he goes, the people here, they don't really care to put on a show or do this, or really care about themselves. They care about other people. And it really bothered me because, when he came back, it was great to see him, but it always stuck in my mind how he said, the people here are so fantastic. You can go to California, you can be fake. You can go anywhere you want to be and look like who you are. Just be who you are. But 2 months later, I get a call from his son, and Sam had passed away from cancer. And his last wish was to come back up here one last time. And that's Lorain. We don't have to put on showy, fashiony things. We can be who we are. As long as we get parents to understand that education, I just did a speech for 20 kids for Men of Honor. And I told them, I'm like, this is part of your life. This is your part of your life so far. That's the rest of it, from here to here. Doing what you do now through high school and getting that education matters. I did go to Kent State. I lived in Vail, Colorado. Actually, Doc Kolczun was on my plane when I moved back from Colorado, from Vail. And his two daughters were with him, and I was crying, because I want to keep skiing. Yeah, it's the values. The thing about Lorain is it's a great place. Speak of the Devil, Kurt and Paige did a fantastic job. Their son graduated summa cum laude, went off to college. So it's not the parents, because Kurt and Paige are great parents, and they made sure their kids did their work. They did everything. My mom was on my butt every single day to do my homework. The only thing that really lacks is a minority of parents that don't really care about their kids. And I try and tell everybody that works for us, I says, you get the high school education, if you apply yourself, and that's kind of what I've been like in my entire life. I immerse myself in things. At 19 years old, this is not a lie, I could not cook grilled cheese. And I asked my chef, I worked at one of the top 100 restaurants in the country as a dishwasher at 19. And I told him, I says, I took 2 pieces of bread and I put them on the stove. I didn't realize you had to put butter on it. So I burned like 5 pieces. Finally, I asked the chef, and probably 3 months after I was washing dishes, they said, you're too valuable. So they moved me on the line, and I worked my way up, and I immersed myself, from the age of 19 until Tony Giardini came up to me when I was really 25 and said, you want to own the restaurant? And for me, that was a little early, but I'd worked every single position known to man. And I tell that to everybody. If you don't know how it works, from the dishwasher to doing everything, you can't start off as an owner right off the bat. You have to be able to work through every position and understand how everything works before you think you can be the king on the block. And at the restaurant, if you see me running around, running food, running drinks, that's my job. It's whatever it does to get the job done. And my son used that when he worked at his one restaurant out on the east side of Cleveland, and they asked him why he does this, that, and the other. And he replied, you know why? Because the work has to get done. And he goes, somebody's got to do it, not somebody else. So I want to thank you very much for this. Admiral King was a great school, and I love my friends, and thank you very much. Me and my father and my girlfriend Jen, who's an amazing person, we have to leave it a little bit after 11, so if we walk out, I apologize. My Uncle Frank Higgins passed away, and we have to be at the Mass. So thank you very much.
Jack Bradley graduated from Lorain High School with the class of 1967. One special memory that Jack has of Lorain High was that he helped to set up a seniors versus faculty basketball game near the end of his senior year. The stands were filled as they did battle with coaches and teachers. He believes that that's how lasting friendships between students and faculty were made. Also in high school, he was vice president of his senior class. He was voted most sincere and participated in student council, various clubs and organizations with the school, along with intramural sports. Following graduation, Jack earned an associate's degree from Lorain County Community College, a bachelor's degree from Case Western Reserve, and a Juris Doctor degree from Cleveland State University. He ultimately utilized these degrees throughout the years as a fourth grade teacher at Emerson Elementary School and practicing law in Lorain for 43 years and currently as the mayor of Lorain. Some of Jack's honors and achievements include Soldier of the Year for the 112th Engineering Battalion, nominated for Soldier of the Year for the state of Ohio, approved by the Ohio Supreme Court as a representative of the Lorain County Bar Association, welcomed President Joe Biden, the first serving president to visit our city, to Lorain, and was one of 5 mayors invited to speak at the National Brownfield Conference in Oklahoma City. Jack was invited to the White House to participate with 9 other Ohio mayors regarding the impact of the Biden-Harris administration in our city. Jack and his wife Deborah have been married for 51 years. They have 1 daughter, Jacqueline, and the apple of his eye, his granddaughter, Roma. Jacqueline was inducted into the Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame in 2018. So Jack is now joining her. Please welcome Jack Bradley to the Lorain Alumni Association Hall of Fame.
I took this picture when I was, before my senior year. I remember that summer, and it was really humid that day, and man, I had to work really hard to keep my hair down, you know, but I'm still proud of that picture. In any event, I want to thank the committee for this very special honor. I want to thank all my family and friends who came here today to help me accept this honor. My friend Marla Hart is here. She's been my friend since high school, and she's become family. And my daughter calls her aunt, and my granddaughter calls her aunt, and she was a special part of me being at Lorain High School. And Marla is probably one of the strongest supporters of Lorain High School. I had to make sure I got her a brick when Lorain High School was torn down, because that's how much she's dedicated to Lorain High School. And so I want to thank her for her friendship. I know my parents, Sam and Fran Bradley, are very proud of me as they look down from heaven. And they instilled in me some of the things that have guided me throughout my life. But someone asked me the question. They said, so how the heck did you become a distinguished graduate? And I said, you know, I think the thing you need to do is surround yourself with distinguished graduates. So when I was in first grade, I met John Costin, and I knew how to make paper airplanes. And so I taught John how to make a paper airplane. And from that time on, we became best friends. And I ended up working at his family business, which was the dry cleaners, and his parents became like my second parents. And we attended college together, and we made a pact with each other. His goal was to be a doctor, and my goal was to be a lawyer, and we both achieved our goals. When I finished law school, I was hired by Lee Kolczun in his law firm. And Lee taught me how to practice law and to be careful of malpractice. I still use Lee's tickler system today to make sure that I don't miss a filing date or important dates for my clients. At some point, I met Tony Giardini and George Corey, and they had this crazy idea to buy the old Smith and Gerhardt's building in downtown Lorain. I mean, at that time, downtown Lorain was like a ghost town. But they convinced me that it was a good investment and that we should do something for our city. I like to think that we were the original catalyst in the redevelopment of the Broadway that we have today. When I was practicing law, I reconnected with Sam Felton, who was a classmate of mine in high school. You don't really meet too many heroes in your life, but Sam was one of them. He not only was an inspiration to me, but he continues to inspire others, not only in our community, but throughout the veterans community. He made me believe that you can always do better and that giving back is what life is all about. My wife ran a travel agency in Lorain for many years, and through that agency we met and traveled with Marie Bonaminio and her husband Clem. She taught me that you can be a successful business person, but never forget to give back to your community, because that community is what made it all possible. I named our first pollinator garden in the city of Lorain in her honor. As a practicing attorney, I always respected both Judge Tom Elwell and Judge Sherry Glass, first as attorneys and now as judges. They have inspired me as a public servant to always remember that the citizens we represent are more important and that egos and personal agendas should be left at the door, and that public service is the highest service you can give to your community. Anthony Richardson actually worked in my law office for a while. He has distinguished himself in all of his endeavors. He has shown me that you can always conquer adversity and that hard work really does pay off. Henry Patterson is now in my old law office. The very first day I was the mayor, we had a planning commission meeting. And believe me, I had no idea what I was doing. Well, luckily, I had Henry sitting next to me, and he would whisper me advice, and he'd give me a nudge when I wasn't following the correct procedures. That's what having a distinguished graduate next to you means. I only had one daughter, and I wanted her to be inspired by the best. So I took her to Chicago when she was 8 or 9 years old to see Paula Scrofano perform the lead role in Evita. I knew my daughter had potential, but I wanted her to see the queen of stage in Chicago. We waited at the stage door, and Paula came out and inspired my daughter to always pursue her dreams. So that brings me to my daughter, Jacqueline. Since her birth, she has inspired me and allowed me to experience her dream of being a performer and also a music therapist. I guess if you live with a distinguished graduate, it helps in getting this award today. Finally, I need to give credit to my wife of 51 years, Deborah. She has encouraged me every day and has always held me in my highest. She gives me inspiration every day and is there for me when I'm down. I mean, when I became the mayor, every week I'd come home and said, Debbie, I'm quitting. I can't take this. And she kept me focused and helped me not to quit. So without her patience and understanding, I would not be here today. If anyone deserves this honor, it's her. So again, I want to thank all of you for being here, and I hope I can continue to deserve what this award stands for. Thank you very much.
I'm going to break with procedure here because our Master of Ceremony is also a distinguished alumni. And so it gives me great pleasure to welcome Jay Ferguson, who is an Admiral King class of 1973 graduate who spent a lifetime in Lorain. Growing up, Jay had two of the best role models possible in his parents and both were very committed to serving the community and helping wherever they could. His father was a scoutmaster for 26 years and awarded over 100 Eagle Scout badges in his troop, which was Troop 306, the troop that I was a Boy Scout in as well. Along with that, he served the students of Lorain with a lengthy career in education. His mother was always supporting it, but behind the scenes with the Scouts or joining the International Festival Committee. Following graduation from Denison University and his 7-year retirement in his 20s, Jay returned to Lorain and went into the family business of education. His 30-plus years in Lorain schools included everything from substitute teacher to assistant superintendent, but it was in the classroom that Jay's most enjoyable days were spent. Memories of teaching include the many relationships with students that turned into friendships following graduation. While teaching, Jay was recognized by the district in its celebration of excellence and was nominated by students for Who's Who in American Education 6 times. Jay was also nominated for the Presidential Award for Math and Science in 1994. Jay entered into administration, becoming the building administrator at Admiral King in 1999, and later the principal at Southview High School in 2002. Many of Jay's best memories are from Southview and the time spent with the outstanding staff there. He even met his wife, Mary Jo Ferguson, at Southview. Jay then moved in a central office position for a few years. Unfortunately, working with adults wasn't Jay's favorite thing, and he returned to the classroom to finish his career. Jay retired in October of 2014. I'm not so sure he's retired, but anyways, and returned to Lorain High in January of 2015 as a tutor and long-term substitute. Today, 9 years into retirement, Jay completed his school year as an assistant principal at Oberlin High School. As the years have passed, Jay's tried every day to live up to the example set for him growing up. He urges all of you to remember and live by the favorite quote from his favorite athlete, Jackie Robinson. A life is not important except in its impact on other lives. So with that, could we please welcome Jay Ferguson to Lorain School Alumni Association's Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame.
Thank you. I'm not sure I belong here, but I appreciate the recognition from the committee. My wife, who felt the need to nominate me, and I was the luckiest person in this room because I got to grow up in Lorain, Ohio, and with 2 of the greatest parents that anyone could have, and they inspired me every day, and their memory continues to inspire me. And just growing up in Lorain, as many of you remember, we're not the international city for nothing. And, you know, the friendships that I made, you know, back 50-some, 60 years ago still exist today. And they are with friends who, from all parts of town, in all races and genders and whatever it was, Lorain was equal. People were people. And it was such a blessing to grow up here, and then even more of a blessing to come back here and find a career that I loved, working with students in Lorain. I got to experience all 3 high schools. And then even a partial year here as a fill-in. And the kids in Lorain haven't changed. They're still great kids. And I was so lucky to have a part of that. And, you know, it's brought me everything in my life. You know, going to Southview High School, I even met my first wife, Mary Jo, and my kids, Storm and Skylar, and that was such a great addition to my life in a situation, a family that I didn't think I would have the opportunity to enjoy. And it's been my pleasure since 1984 to be able to work with the kids in the city of Lorain, and I have friends here, Tony Richardson, Randy and Christy, that are distinguished alums today that were in my classroom many years ago, and I appreciate them more as adults and friends, and I thank you for this, and I greatly appreciate it. What's that?
So back to work.
Back to work? Thank you. Lieutenant Colonel Randy Garcia is a 1994 graduate of the Lorain High School. Randy was an average student at LHS, but did enjoy intramural sports. He does recall the day he met Christy Babbage in Miss Langendorfer's algebra class, and happily celebrates 25 years of marriage with her this year. Following graduation, Randy spent several years trying to figure things out and realized the military might provide the direction he needed. In October of 1998, he enlisted in the U.S. Army, which allowed him to attend college at the University of Tampa as the result of an ROTC scholarship. He graduated magna cum laude with a Bachelor of Arts in Foreign Languages. He also earned a master's degree in management and leadership from Webster University. In the near future, he plans on attending Naval War College, where he will work toward receiving a Master of Arts in National Security and Strategic Studies. Randy's military education is extensive, as evidenced by completing Officer Basic Course, Captain's Career Course, Resident Command and General Staff Officer, Advanced Operations and Warfighting Course. He is recipient of the 9A Proficiency Designator, the highest recognition for professional excellence in the Army Medical Department, and the Order of Military Medical Merit. Lieutenant Colonel Garcia's decorated career included a position in Battle S4, where he deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom II, Company Commander, where he deployed in support of Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan, Battalion Commander, Regional Contracting Center, deployed to Kuwait in support of Operation Inherent Resolve, deployed to Romania and Poland in support of Operation European Assure, Deter Reinforce, and just completed a successful battalion command of the 923rd Contracting Battalion, Fort Riley, Kansas. Lieutenant Colonel Garcia is below zone selectee for promotion to colonel. Randy's awards and decorations include the Bronze Star with 1 oak leaf cluster, the Meritorious Service Medal, 8 oak leaf clusters, Army Commendation Medal, 3 oak leaf clusters, Air Force Commendation Medal, the Army Achievement Medal, the Meritorious Volunteer Service Medal, the Army Good Conduct Medal, the National Defense Ribbon, Bronze Star device, the Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal, the Southwest Asia Service Medal, and the Afghan Campaign Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, and the Humanitarian Service Medal, the Army Service Ribbon, the NATO Service Ribbon, the Overseas Ribbon, Joint Meritorious Unit Citation, the Combat Action Badge, and the Army Recruiting Basic Badge. How'd you like to be behind him in the airport security line? Lieutenant Colonel Garcia and his wife Christy are proud parents of Jaden and daughter Aaliyah, and currently reside in Fort Riley, Kansas. I think they did when that was written, but I think they're on their way east. And if you really want a good travel log, follow them on Facebook, because it's Where in the World Are Christy and Randy? Please welcome Lieutenant Colonel Randy Garcia to the Lorain Alumni Association Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame.
Well, I didn't need glasses before, but the last 2 years it's gone away, so only way I can focus. Good morning, distinguished guests, families, and friends of the great community of Lorain, Ohio. What a great Army Day. My name's Garcia, and I'm an Army soldier. A special thank you to the Lorain High alumni for putting together such an outstanding event. Phenomenal. Well done. Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations to the nominees. I'm deeply honored and grateful for this distinguished award. Expressing gratitude is the simplest, yet most powerful thing we can do for each other. To my family in attendance, my brother Henry, wife Carla, niece Bella, nephew Giano, thank you. Carla is also an educator with the Lorain City Schools. Thank you for your do for our community. A special congratulations to my niece Bella on her high school graduation as she prepares for her freshman year at The Ohio State. Her future is bright. I'm extremely proud of you. To my mother-in-law Pauline, my uncle Joe, Aunt Linda, my sister-in-law Michelle, husband Kevin, thank you for attending. I really appreciate it. To my beautiful children Jaden and Aaliyah, I know you can't be here. I'm extremely grateful for your sacrifices and am proud of your accomplishments. Love you all. As you know, family is everything, and I appreciate everything you do to support my career. I come from a humble upbringing. We didn't have much, but what we did have was a devoted family. A disabled father and a mother who worked in a factory. She was always the hardest worker in the room. To my parents, Enrique and Elita, God bless you for the foundation and values of hard work, discipline, and the importance of character for Nitsa, Henry, and I. My family always supported me, whether it was driving my friends and I from Lorain to Lorain High from South Lorain. Those are always great drives with my dad. Helping with projects at school, supporting me during several combat deployments to Afghanistan, Iraq, Kuwait, and just recently to Poland and Romania. I would like to thank the community of South Lorain and my peers as we navigated life during our adolescence years. I cannot thank the teachers enough. I say again, I cannot thank teachers enough of Lowell Elementary, Whittier Middle School, Southview High School, Lorain High School during my tenure for ensuring I possess the knowledge, skills, and talents to succeed. They are a testament of my character, competence, and commitment to the profession of arms. I joined the Army shortly after graduating high school with the intent to get a skill and go to college after my commitment. Christy and I are now 24 years and 17 moves into our Army journey. The two best decisions of my life are joining the Army, and the most important was marrying Christy Babbage. I still remember her in algebra class, but she's as beautiful as ever. Although she, as she says, I chased her around for quite a bit, so it took me probably about half the year before she even dated me, but I am extremely lucky and blessed. Christy, my bride, is a Lorain High graduate, my high school sweetheart, my strongest supporter, the rock of my family, love of my life. She's been there for several combat tours, including 2 in the last 24 months. We arrived in Fort Riley, Kansas on Wednesday. I took command on Thursday. Our household goods got delivered on Friday, and on Monday I was on a plane to Kuwait. She set up the house, got everything together. I came back. 5 months later, came home, I said, I got some news for you. She's like, what is it? I said, yeah, Russia's messed around and gone into Ukraine, and we're going to go downrange again. And she just was steadfast, supporting our families, supporting me, and I'm just really blessed to have her. The great Lao stated, being deeply loved by someone gives you strength. Loving someone deeply gives you courage. Your love gave me the courage needed to lead America's best, the top 1% of society, to get the privilege to wear the jersey of the best team in the world, the cloth of our country. I am honored to be your husband and look forward to the next Army chapter of our love story. Thank you. I love you much. The Army is a family business. We enlist our soldiers, we re-enlist families. Christy and I are devoted to our Army families. In fact, at Fort Riley we just left, she was recognized with the Lady Victory Award by the Commanding General. I mentioned that because I thought I was someone very important on Fort Riley as a battalion commander. When I returned, was meeting the new senior staff, the chief of staff said, oh yeah, you're Christy's husband. I wanted to say, no, I'm a battalion commander, but being the good officer, I just said, Roger, sir. In all honesty, it takes a strong family, a strong woman, to be a resilient Army wife, and I'm proud of all the examples she has set for our future, and just extremely proud of her. Thank you again to the committee for this distinguished honor. Thank you to Lorain City Schools for your investment in our future and for hosting JROTC. You're building the future leaders of the armed forces and our great nation. Mr. Dan Rather explained, the dream begins with the teacher who believes in you, who tugs, pushes, and leads you to the next plateau, sometimes poking you with a sharp stick called truth. Thank you to all the teachers who poked and believed in me to make my dreams come true and enable me to be all I can be. God bless you. God bless our deployed soldiers. God bless America. Be all you can be. Army strong. Thank you.
Cliff German has many special memories from his years at Admiral King High School. He was involved in so many activities such as band, choir, musicals, plays, teacher's aide, and teacher assistant. He set school record for service award points and received 7 varsity letter awards in sports. He also earned numerous all-conference and all-Ohio awards in baseball, football, and wrestling. Upon graduation in '67, Cliff continued his education at Miami of Ohio and earned a degree in 1971. He also completed many business and education courses throughout the years. After graduation, Cliff returned to Lorain and coached at Irving Junior High School. They won their first football championship in 35 years. I remember the poor futility of the kids at Irving, and I can say that because they beat us when I was in 8th grade, and it was their first win in probably 10 years. Cliff has been an announcer for all sports at Vermilion High School for the last 40 years. He has announced all-star meets in Cleveland and all around Northern Ohio in every sport. He's been a teacher, a coach, a promoter of numerous sports, including wrestling, for the last 55 years. His support of the area continues as a member of the Vermilion Kiwanis, the Chamber of Commerce, the Vermilion Athletic Booster Club, Lorain Sports Hall of Fame, Vermilion AmVets, Eagles, and VFW member. Cliff was inducted into 2 Sports Hall of Fames, the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame in 2002 and the Vermilion Hall of Fame in 2005. Cliff German had been the Chief Executive Officer for German Villa Enterprise for 40 years and still finds time outside of business to substitute teach, announce sporting events at Vermilion Public Schools in surrounding areas, and be active in many civic and community groups. Cliff resides in Vermilion with his wife Nancy. During the 53 years that they have been married, she has been so supportive and nurturing in all of his endeavors. They have 3 children together, Leah, John, and Mike, and have 10 grandchildren. Please welcome Cliff German to the Lorain Alumni Association Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame.
Okay. Here, I'm Okay, before I get started, I would certainly like to take a moment to honor and to thank Lieutenant Colonel Garcia for all of his service to our country. Thank you. And I don't know that the late, great Audie Murphy had too many more awards than that. That was pretty special. Good morning to all the very special guests here this morning, including but not limited to members of the Board of Directors of the Lorain School Alumni Hall of Fame, and all of the honorees and inductees and their families and friends here this morning. My name is Cliff German, and to say that it is an honor and a privilege to be here today would be a huge understatement. When I was notified I was being selected to be a part of this very prestigious group, I took the time to look at this organization, its leadership, the people that had already been inducted, and the people that are about to be inducted. I was very humbled and very gratified to be selected to be a part of this wonderful organization. When I graduated from Lorain Admiral King High School in 1967, with almost 700 other graduates, little did I know how lucky I was to have experienced the wonderful classes, the tremendous teachers, and the outstanding programs were being offered to me at that time that would help me to prepare me for my future plans at Miami University, teaching, coaching, and the business world. But even more important than that was the family that encouraged me, that assisted me, and were there to guide me through many transitions in career and professional changes. And that continues to this day. Looking back at the times, we had United States Steel, we had Ford Motor Company, we had a Lorain Division of Coring, We had American Ship, we had the Campana Corporation, and we had all the small periphery businesses that existed to support those large organizations. And while at the same time we were participating in sports, in the arts, band, and all the other school activities, while our parents, neighbors, and relatives all worked extremely hard to support the children of that era. We watched and learned what hard work was. We learned to think outside the box and to be creative. Who could possibly know that a number of years later something named COVID would hit, and there would be a creative thinking and thinking outside the box that would defy the imagination to keep businesses rolling. We learned to be disciplined. We learned the energy, and we learned that working with others was paramount and fundamental. How wonderfully blessed we were to have those tremendous examples while we were growing up. And multiply that with a school system that was simply tremendous. We were not only fortunate because of the schools and the businesses that existed at that time, but because of the families that everyone looked out for and watched out for each other. We all played together, we all got in trouble together, but we learned together. I am extremely encouraged by the hard work of our government officials, and some of them are here today, as they work to recreate and reinvent Lorain since the loss of the big business opportunities that were once a huge part of this very vibrant city. Many cities are going through it this time, but the energy, the creativity, and the motivation of our government officials is very exciting. Once again, I'd like to thank the entire organization for honoring me and my family in this prestigious award. Thank you to my wife, Nancy. We've been married 53 years this September, for all the words and thoughtfulness and caring and what she says to me so many times, more now so than when we were younger, when I come home with ideas and things we need to do, and her comments are always, "Are you crazy?" Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so very much. It is indeed a great honor. Thank you.
Tony Giardini is a 1969 graduate of Admiral King High School. While in high school, Tony was active in wrestling and baseball. Following graduation, Tony made his way to Miami University in Oxford and graduated with a degree in economics. Following graduation from college, Tony returned to the Lorain area and enrolled at Case Western Reserve Law School, graduating in 1976 in the top 10% of his class. He was admitted as a member of the Ohio Bar Association in November of '76 and immediately embarked on a legal career in Lorain. In his early years, Tony cut his teeth in the city law department while he built private practice. Tony's had many clients over his 45-year legal career, but it was the legal representation he did for American Shipbuilding Company, owned by late George Steinbrenner of Yankees fame, that provided a pivotal moment in his legal career. In 1983, Steinbrenner decided to move AmShip from Lorain to Tampa, Florida, and Giardini stayed in the area to negotiate the sale of land where the shipyards once existed. As luck would have it, a young Al Spitzer would decide to purchase the property, and Tony would negotiate the contract on behalf of Steinbrenner. Several months following the closing of the deal, Spitzer reached out to Tony to represent him in his effort to bring casino gambling to Lorain, Ohio, to be built at the former shipyard's property. Tony wrote the first casino legislation for Ohio, which passed the Ohio House of Representatives, led by then State Representative Joe Cicerrella. Tony went on to become General Counsel and Chief Operating Officer for Spitzer Management, which oversaw 20 auto dealerships in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Florida, helping to build the business to nearly $1 million in sales per year. Tony also served as legal counsel on the board of directors of Citizens Home Savings And additionally, Tony has had the honor of serving as legal counsel for Lorain City Schools in 2008, and we keep him very busy. In addition to his illustrious legal career, Tony has a love for his hometown of Lorain, Ohio. Tony was instrumental in developing the Harbor Walk residential community. He also helped to develop Lighthouse Village and is co-owner of the Shipyards Event Center and entertainment venue. He has redeveloped and maintained, along with Jack Bradley, office at 520 Broadway since the early 1980s. In addition to a love of Lorain, Tony has been active politically in Lorain County and city politics. Tony served as Lorain County Democratic Party chairman from 2012 until late last year. He was also the City of Lorain's chairman from 1985 until 2012. He served on the Lorain Board of Elections and still does from 1985 till now. Tony was county coordinator for Dick Celeste's successful campaign for governor and for Ted Strickland's campaign for governor. Tony has also served on various community organizations over the years, including as a member of the Lorain County Community College Foundation Board of Trustees, the Lorain County Community Development Agency, Director for Action Central Lorain, and Community Development Corporation. He has served on countless boards, advisory groups, and even found time to co-found this organization, the Lorain Schools Alumni Association, with Henry Patterson. Tony proudly resides in Lorain and enjoys spending his days with his three sons, Anthony, Michael, and Christian, and in spoiling his grandchildren. There is no one who will do more for the children of Lorain than Tony Giardini. Please welcome him to the Lorain Alumni Association Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame.
Good morning, everybody. And thanks for coming this morning. When I was getting ready this morning, I wasn't sure what to wear, and then I remembered that Bradley would be here, and I better dress my best because he always dresses his best. I want to recognize and thank the committee. You know, it's when you sit on a board of an organization, you really got to be careful about who you recognize. It really wasn't the intention of Henry and I when we founded the Lorain Alumni Association to get recognized ourselves. Quite honestly, we formed this organization, and I'm going to spend my minutes talking about Lorain and the organization, if you don't mind. We founded it because we were both, quite honestly, irritated with the sort of publicity that the City of Lorain and the Lorain City Schools were getting, especially back in 2017, 2016 timeframe. We knew that there were a lot of really great people who came out of the City of Lorain and went on to do really great things. And not just in sports, because that seems to have been what we were noted for. We had all these great athletes. You talk about Admiral King any place in the state, first thing they'll talk about is our basketball team. But they won't talk about some of the people who graduated from Admiral King who went on to form great businesses or went on to other places and ran big corporations. And that irritated us. It irritated us that the kids today were getting a bad rap. And we decided that we should form an organization that started telling people about our kids and what they accomplish and what they can accomplish instead of letting somebody else define us. And that was the purpose and is the purpose of this organization, to educate people. And sometimes we have to remind ourselves just how good, how great our kids are. I would, and I still feel this way, would put our kids up against any kids in any city and any school district in the state of Ohio at any time and not be concerned about how they'll come out. They're that good. They really are. Do not believe some of the BS headlines that we sometimes get. It's just not right, and it's not fair to them. And the second reason we formed the organization is not just to educate people about what a great school system we have, but to recognize some of those individuals who really went on to do special things. I don't think what I have done is very special. All the guys, and this is kind of great to be in this class this year because Cliff German and Jack and Deb Bradley, we went to high school together, Tony Richardson, we have something in common. We were all born here in Lorain, probably most of us in the same hospital at St. Joseph's. And when I was growing up, our neighborhood looked like this. The Davis and the Atkinson families were behind us and across the street. The Gloriosos were across the street. We had Polish families, families from West Virginia, families from Kentucky. All of our parents worked either at the Ford plant or the steel plant. We all had one car, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and in my case, I had 3 other sisters I had to share that 1 bathroom with. And we didn't think of ourselves as being poor because we were all in the same boat. When you're the same as everybody else, you don't start making distinctions. Today we have gated communities and we have all of these things that try to divide us. And quite honestly, after 45 years of politics, I really did have to give it up because that was starting to irritate me. You know, I guess the older I get, the easier it is to irritate me. And when you get to that point, you have to step back because it's important. Politics is important. But you have to approach it in such a way that you stay positive all the time. Not an easy thing to do these days. So I really do appreciate the recognition, but the truth of the matter is the really great people who have come out of this city came out of this city because they grew up a certain way. They grew up with parents who valued education, who worked hard, whose sole goal was to make sure that their children had a better life than them. A lot of kids get born on third base. Most of us weren't even in the dugout. We literally had to work our way out. And the truth of the matter is there are literally thousands of people who have come out of this city, have come out of this school district, who've done just that. And really, that's, to us, the mark of a successful person. You raise your kids, you teach them to do the right things, and you hope that maybe they do a little better than you did. That was my goal. I think it's the goal of most of us who grew up in this city. And a few other people said it before, and I'll repeat it. We didn't know just how lucky we were to grow up the way we grew up. And I'm proud of this city. I am definitely a homeboy, there's no question about it. And I'll throw down with anybody, even at the old age of 72 right now, if they start bad-mouthing my hometown. I want to say thank you also to Lieutenant Colonel Garcia for his service. And the truth of the matter is that's something else that we have a rich history of. We have sent a lot of people to the military. Many of them didn't come home, whether it was World War I or II, or the Vietnam conflict, or any of the conflicts that we've had since then. And I'm proud of that too. We're proud of our athletes, but we're also proud of the men and women who've served our country so ably and nobly over the years, and I think that comes from coming from a town like Lorain also. So thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it, and every chance you get, you tout the students and the kids and the folks who come out of the city of Lorain. Thank you.
Ginnane is a 1941 graduate of St. Mary's High School. Ann was a lifelong resident of Lorain, Ohio. Following graduation, Ann attended Marygrove College, now the University of Detroit, where she earned her Bachelor's of Science degree in education. She also earned a master's degree at Western Reserve University, now Case Western Reserve. Following college, Ann taught for 32 years in Lorain schools. She taught at Longfellow, Irving, and Admiral King before she retired. I can still remember one of my first days as a freshman at Admiral King High School. This little gray-haired woman coming up to me, and I had no idea who she was, and she said, "I know you, Jay Ferguson. I taught with your dad at Irving. I've got my eye on you." And that was pretty intimidating for a freshman in a 2,400 student high school trying to find his way. Following her retirement, Ann taught for 12 additional years at Lorain Catholic High School. Though Ann never married or had children of her own, she was a devoted educator who made an impact on all of their lives. Former students would approach her in the grocery store or at restaurants to thank her for inspiring their love of learning. There is even a Facebook page called Fans of Ann Ginnane. Reading through this, you get to experience the love, respect, admiration, loyalty, and dedication that Ann inspired in all whose lives she touched. Here are some quotes from former students. "She just didn't teach, she led you to knowledge and prompted you to gain skills that would last a lifetime. There were only a few teachers who left an impression upon my life, and Miss Ginnane was one of them. She was tough, she had high expectations of everyone, she didn't allow excuses, she taught with passion and enthusiasm that I have never witnessed again. She was my English teacher at Irving, and everything they said about her is true and then some. For me, the most important thing she did was open my eyes to the written word and savor writing. Thanks to her, I had a 40-year career teaching English. I was among the many whose lives were touched and shaped by the gifted teachings of Miss Ann Ginnane. You could always tell there was something special about her." And to be at Admiral King High School in the late 60s and early 70s with this 5-foot-tall, maybe, a woman walking around, she was not intimidated, she was intimidating. I saw her bring football players to their knees with a look and a word, the respect that she commanded. She is quoted as saying, "I love teaching. There was never a problem with discipline because I kept them busy." Amen. Thank you, Ann Ginnane, for the profound impact you have had on your students. Please join me in welcoming Ann Ginnane to the Lorain Alumni Association Distinguished Alumnus Hall of Fame. Accepting is Joanne Reedy, her cousin.
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, I was afraid of Ann. But I loved her. And I really, really loved her. And I think that she loved every single person that she taught. That was her life. And I wrote a long thing. I'm not going to say it because I'll start crying, so I won't. Thank you. Thank you.
Lee Kolczun attended and graduated from St. Mary's High School with the class of 1962. He has memories of his high school years. The Right Reverend Monsignor James J. Duffy teaching senior religion classes, taking biology classes from Coach Chuck Musio and civics classes from Frank Jacinto, along with chemistry classes from Sister Florian, learning algebra, geometry, and trigonometry from Sister Jane Patricia, and stories that they experienced with Will Roush, the custodian. Lee was a senior class treasurer, member of student council, choral, Sodality, and president of Club 62. He also played football, was co-captain of the team, and earned the Sportsmanship Award. Following high school, Lee pursued his education and degrees at the University of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana. For his first year, the University of Miami, Coral Gables for his BBA in Industrial Management, Case Western Reserve Cleveland for his MBA and law degree. Lee is licensed to practice law with the state of Ohio and before the U.S. Supreme Court. Over the past 47 years, Lee's practice, Lee S. Kolczun Company LPA, focuses on worker compensation, estate planning, probate, and elder law. He also served the city of Lorain as an assistant city prosecutor and the state of Ohio as an assistant attorney general in the workmen's compensation and section. He represented the Bureau of Workers' Compensation and Industrial Commission of Ohio in trials in Common Pleas Court and argued cases before the Ohio Court of Appeals and the Ohio Supreme Court. As an educator, Lee taught at Lorain Community College as an adjunct instructor and served as full-time director of Blackstone Launchpad. In 2016, he became full-time faculty member and assistant professor, teaching and coordinating law and entrepreneurship courses. Lee received tenure and was promoted to assistant professor in 2021 and continues to instruct at LCC. He also experienced teaching higher education when he was invited to lecture classes of students at Odense and Vejle campus, enrolled in the Innovation and Entrepreneurial Program through Lillebelt Academy of Higher Education in Odense, Denmark. That's a mouthful. Lee's professional and community leadership is evidenced in his numerous involvement in associations and boards. He served as president of Lorain International Association, class member leadership Lorain County, chair of St. Joseph's Healthcare Foundation Board, member of Community Health Partners Foundation Board, member of Avon Lake Planning Commission, chair of Lorain Catholic High School Advisory Board, member of Case Western Reserve Law School Association Board of Governors, member of the Catholic Diocese of Cleveland Foundation Board, chair of the Leadership Lorain County Governing Board, and was appointed by Governor Ted Strickland to the Board of Trustees at LCC. He was also elected chair of the American Bar Association General Practice Section, which has a membership of 34,000, with the overall ABA organization of more than 425,000 members. He was elected as a member of the ABA House of Delegates and to the Board of Governors. Please welcome Lee Kolczun to the Lorain Alumni Association Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame.
Good morning. Being from St. Mary's, the smallest of the 5 schools, it's a great honor for me and for Lorain St. Mary's. I stand before you today with a deep sense of gratitude and appreciation for the Lorain School Alumni Association. Thank you for honoring me and recognizing the impact that I have had on the Lorain area community as an attorney, entrepreneur, and through my public service. This recognition is truly humbling and serves as a reminder of the importance of our collective efforts in making a positive difference. To be acknowledged by an organization that supports and celebrates the accomplishments of its alumni is truly an honor. I am proud to stand among the distinguished individuals who have been previously received this recognition, along with today's current inductees to its 5th class. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share a few words with all of you today. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the incredible support system that has been instrumental in my journey. To my parents who always encouraged my brother and me to be involved in all that we did in life. To my brother and his family. To Kathy and Jim Busey for nominating me for this award. And both my St. Mary's high school classmates, and my friends and loved ones, I thank you always for believing in me and standing by my side. Your unwavering encouragement and support have been the pillars of my success, and I am forever grateful. I would also like to extend my deepest appreciation to my mentors, my colleagues, and the Lorain County Community College family for my second season of life-work balance as a professor. Their guidance, wisdom, and expertise have shaped me both personally and professionally. The education and experiences I have gained from this esteemed institution have been instrumental in my achievements, and I am honored to be a part of this educational community. Today, as we recognize my accomplishments, I want to emphasize the significance of inspiring the next generation. To the children of Lorain County, I stand before you as living proof that you can achieve great things. Whether your passion lies in law or other professions, in education or entrepreneurship, or any other field, I encourage you to dream big, work hard, and believe in yourselves. Your life can be a true PMA moment, positive mental attitude, by simply setting your mind to what you accomplish, when you want to accomplish it, and how you want to accomplish it. My journey has been a testament to the transformative power of education and the opportunities that come with it. I implore each student in the greater Lorain area to embrace education as a tool for empowerment and social change. Let it be the foundation upon which you build your dreams and make a lasting impact on your community, be it locally and or globally. In addition to education, I have found that entrepreneurship plays a vital role in creating opportunities and driving positive change. By embracing innovation and pursuing entrepreneurial endeavors, we can address societal challenges, create jobs, and foster economic growth. I encourage the youth of Lorain County to explore their entrepreneurial spirit, thinking outside the box, and bring their unique ideas to life. Furthermore, as aspiring professionals, never lose sight of the importance of giving back to your community. Engage in public service, support local initiatives, and advocate for the causes that matter to you. Remember that our true measure of success lies not only in personal achievement, but also in the positive impact we have on the lives of others. In closing, I want to express my deepest gratitude once again to the Lorain Schools Alumni Association for this remarkable recognition. I'm proud to be a part of this esteemed organization and to contribute to the betterment of the greater Lorain community. Let us continue to inspire and empower the children of Lorain County to dream big, make a difference, and create a brighter future for all. Thank you all for your unwavering support. May our collective efforts lead to a community that continues to thrive and inspire future generations. Thank you.
Patricia Morrison graduated 5th in her class from Lorain High School with the class of 1959A. Her main interest and love in high school was vocal music. She had the honor of being in Howard Hanson's choir and having a role in The King and I. She also participated in 2 other operettas, Annie Get Your Gun and Oklahoma. Pat was selected for National Honor Society. Upon graduation, she attended Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois. Pat earned a bachelor's degree in biology and a teaching certificate. She went on to teach biology at Cleveland Heights while her husband was in law school at John Carroll. After relocating to Lorain, Pat pursued a career in education and teaching at Longfellow Junior High until starting her family. Pat and John were married in 1963. They have 3 children, Skip, Margie, and Cindy, and are grandparents of 5, Matt, Michael, Charlie, Bailey, and Liam. Pat became active in the Girl Scout, planning functions and field trips and activities, and worked with them for many years. That, along with her love of travel, led to the creation of her business, Footprint Tours, in 1986. She owned and was chief cook and bottle washer of this company in downtown Lorain until 2021. Pat's love of the city of Lorain is evident in all her involvement with the community. She's been an active member and moderator of First Congregational Church, served on the board of the Erie Shores Girl Scouts and Lorain County Visitors Bureau, secretary for Main Street Lorain Board, and beautification subcommittee for Main Street Lorain. She volunteers at the Lorain Historical Society, has served on a board, and was president of the board. For many years, Pat was involved with the Friends of Metro Parks, a volunteer organization for the Lorain County Metro Parks, and served on its board. She loves gardening and the water, especially Lake Erie. Pat radiates pride and love for the city of Lorain when you talk to her, and demonstrates it through her activities and volunteer work. She has remained within the city of Lorain to share her time and talent to help create a better place to live. To quote Pat, "Lorain's sitting on a gold mine, a lake and a river. We could become a huge tourist destination." Please welcome Pat Morrison to the Lorain Alumni Association Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to share with you that I had no idea that I was supposed to give a speech. So this is going to be very quick and brief. First of all, thank you for this honor. Don't think I deserve it, but I am so grateful to have it. And I want to thank my friends and family who are here this morning to honor me also. It's been great. I want to tell you just a quick story, and hopefully it'll be quick. When I was quite young, I was a Girl Scout, and my Girl Scout troop went to Washington, D.C. We went for 4 or 5 days, and we got on a train here in Lorain and trained to Washington, D.C., and then came back by train. When we got home, it is probably one of the main things that I remember about my life as a Girl Scout. And my husband and I have 2 girls, and when we were raising them, I believed in the Girl Scout movement, and I ended up becoming a leader of a troop of Girl Scouts here in Lorain. Remembering our trip to Washington, D.C., I decided that that's what my Girl Scout troop should do. And I think it was in 78 or 79, I got together and I took our Girl Scout troop and another troop to Washington, D.C. This time, though, the only train that we could take went from Youngstown, Ohio at 3 o'clock in the morning. So my father suggested that I call Don Sanborn, who owned Cleveland Lorain Highway Coach. And we got on a bus instead and went to Washington, D.C. for 5 days and came home. And when I got home, and I think my husband will probably remember this, some of the first words out of my mouth were, "When do we go again?" And for the next 7 years, I planned trips as a volunteer for Girl Scout troops. In 1986, with my husband's help, I decided to form a business called Footprint Tours and traveled for 34 years by bus all over the country. And what I have learned in thinking about the future of Lorain is what is quoted in here. We are sitting on a gold mine with a lake and a river. We could become an amazing tourist destination. And that's my hope for the future of Lorain. Thank you again very, very much for the honor.
Welcome. One thing I learned very early in a public speaking class was never apologize for being brief. Brandon Neely is a proud 2000 graduate of Southview High School. During high school, Brandon truly epitomized student athletes. He was a 3-time letter winner in football, 2 times in basketball, and first team all-county and honorable mention in football, and also participated in baseball. Brandon also earned National Honor Society status as a Saint. Many of Brandon's fondest high school memories stem from his senior year on the football team, because that way was a summary of his 18 years of growing up in Lorain. It's a group of people from different racial, economical backgrounds learning daily to live and thrive together. We were not the most talented team, and we were far from perfect. Our final record was 5-5, but we learned 2 of the most important lessons from high school. Learning not just to coexist with varied background, but to actually see we all dealt with the same struggles, regardless of our neighborhood or ethnicity. We also learned to be persistent and persevere when things were not going our way. Despite what would be considered an average record, we all continued to show up. I'm sure we lost 1 or 2 players throughout the season, but 99% showed up every day for each other and for a shared goal. I learned that persistence and perseverance was about one simple thing: showing up every day. Following high school, Brandon went to Oberlin College, where he played football and earned a BA. He then graduated from the Iowa State Police Academy in 2006. He would work as a special agent in the Iowa Department of Public Safety and as a member of the Iowa State Police. He would conduct criminal and gaming regulatory investigation of casinos in Iowa. Brandon also participated in the Criminal Investigator Training Program at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in 2008. That same year, he would complete the Special Agent Training course for the United States Secret Service. From 2008 to 2016, he served as Special Agent in the U.S. Secret Service in the Springfield, Illinois office. During this time, he conducted complex criminal investigations and physical protection with 16 counties in Iowa and Illinois. He would also develop and implement 45 presidential candidate and head of state protective visits. He served on the protective advance team for the 2016 Republican National Convention in Cleveland, Ohio. From 2016 through 2022, Brandon was a special agent in the Presidential Protective Division, where he served as protective detail for Presidents Donald Trump and Joseph Biden and family. He also served as lead transportation advance for the 2021 presidential inauguration and was a lead protective advance for President Biden's trip to Lorain in 22. Currently, Brandon works for the Chevron Corporation as a security advisor. Before Brandon was protecting our nation's leaders, he was also proud to mention that he served as a building substitute at Whittier Middle School and was on the varsity coaching staff at Southview. Brandon resides in Northern California with his wife, Jennifer Andres. Please welcome Brandon Neely to the Lorain Alumni Association Distinguished Hall of Fame. And we had a video that doesn't work, so we're going to ask Mom Sue to come up and say a couple words. Surprise.
Hey, Jay, I'll play that first.
Oh. Okay, we've got talkies coming up.
Thanks. Yeah, I will accept this as my son, for my son. We all just got back from Mexico, and my daughter got married. And as some of you know, my husband passed away a couple years ago, so he wasn't able to be here. And I'm sure he would be proud as I am for Brandon to receive this today. So go ahead.
Hopefully this will work.
Hello. First off, I would like to thank the Alumni Association for this award. It is truly humbling to not only be considered, but to be provided a Distinguished Alumni Award. I'd also like to congratulate the rest of the class of 2023, all of which are far more deserving and distinguished than I am. After I graduated high school from Lorain Southview in 2000, I went to Oberlin College, where I got my 4-year degree. After graduating from Oberlin, I served the Iowa State Police for 3 years, and then I went on to the United States Secret Service. For the last 6 years, I was on the President's detail, serving President Trump and President Biden. All of those things could not have been made possible without the extreme level of love and support from my parents. Just like other kids in Lorain, we were not financially well off. My parents did not have a lot of money and extra money for that, but at no point growing up did myself or my sister ever feel those financial struggles. We often asked for a new pair of shoes. We didn't get the new pair of Jordans that we wanted, but we got a new pair of shoes to go to school. We didn't get the nicest of clothes, probably got something off the sale rack, but we did get some new clothes every year. And you know, looking back, it were those sacrifices that my parents made every week, every month, every year, so that I could be the best student and person that I could be. You know, the other thing looking back at Lorain was the extreme level of love and support from my friends in Lorain. You know, a lot of people in Lorain have very, very different paths in their life. You know, but where I was very, very fortunate and lucky were that all of my friends supported my personal goals unconditionally. These are friends that didn't go to college. These are friends that maybe did not have the same professional aspirations that I did, but at no point did they ever look at me to sacrifice my personal goals to continue a friendship with them. If anything, it was the exact opposite. There were many situations growing up that I maybe shouldn't have been in, that they told me themselves that, Brandon, you are better than this, that you have a brighter future, that you need to keep yourself out of any type of trouble to continue the path that you should be on. And I always look back at that and look back at what true friends are. True friends do not ask you to sacrifice your personal goals as a quantifier for their friendship. If anything, they're pushing you and supporting you to be the best person that you could be. So to all the parents out there of Lorain City School kids, to all the friends out there, just don't underestimate that level of love, support, and encouragement that you can give to someone every single day. You know, looking back and calling me distinguished, why I say I don't think I'm distinguished, because in my mind I just showed up for work every day and tried to do my best. Sometimes better than others, but I kept showing up, because anytime something got difficult, I look back at the sacrifices that my parents made, and it didn't seem difficult. It paled in comparison to the sacrifice that they made. Anytime I thought about quitting or training got too hard, or an assignment overseas got too difficult, I thought back to all my friends that looked me in the face and said, Brandon, you're better than that. That don't lower yourself to anyone. And that made me push through and understand that there were people all over Lorain that invested in me personally, and that all I wanted to do was make them proud and have a return on their personal investment. So just remember that no one fails on their own and no one succeeds on their own. Thank you. Have a great day.
Henry Patterson Jr. is a 1993 graduate of Admiral King High School. In the 5th grade, Henry was selected to be a member of the Hawthorne Academy. To this day, Henry credits the high expectations, competitive environment, and relationships built at Hawthorne as the foundation of much of his success in life. In high school, Henry was known as a well-rounded student athlete, and he earned varsity letters in football, baseball, and track and field at Admiral King. Though he had been accepted and planned on attending Oberlin College for football, fate intervened when first, after track had been canceled, Henry paid the entry fee himself and jumped 6 foot 10 inch at the district meet in Amherst. This jump would result in his receiving a full scholarship at the University of Toledo to run track. At Toledo, Henry excelled academically and athletically. In 1997, Henry graduated magna cum laude from University of Toledo with a degree in political science. He was the 1996 Mid-American Conference Track Athlete of the Year, a 2-time high jump All-American, earned first-team All-MAC academic honors 3 times, and qualified for and made the finals of the 1996 Olympic trials in Atlanta. Henry would go on to have a professional track career when he was the 1999 U.S. National High Jump Champion, participated in 3 Olympic trials, and was a member of 2 World Championship and 1 Pan Am U.S. team. Following college, Henry was selected as an intern for the prestigious Legislative Service Commission for the Ohio House of Representatives. Around 2000, he returned to Lorain to start a family, and he worked for Lorain City Schools. While back in Lorain, he earned a Master of Public Administration from Cleveland State, and in 2006, he enrolled at the Cleveland Marshall College of Law. Henry would earn his law degree in 2010, graduating cum laude, and passed the bar exam that same year. Henry has practiced law in Lorain since 2010 and has focused his practice on estate trusts and probate. In addition to his law practice, Henry has worked at Lorain County Community College and is a tenured associate professor of political science, where he has taught since 2006. Henry has also been active as a volunteer coach with Lorain City Schools since 2010, and in 2022, he and his wife, Deb, took over as head girls track coaches at Lorain High. Henry's prided himself on his community involvement by providing leadership by serving as board chairman of the Lorain County Community Action Agency, the vice chairman of the Academic Stress Commission, and as a member of the Lorain County Board of Development Disabilities and Children's Developmental Center. He serves as president of the Lorain Schools Alumni Association, vice chairman of the Chief Federal Credit Union, and as a member of the Lorain City Planning Commission. Noticing that there was a void honoring graduates of Lorain schools that weren't athletes, Henry and Tony Giardini co-founded this organization, the Lorain Schools Alumni Association, in 2017. Henry resides in Lorain with his wife Deborah and 3 adult children, Sydney, Mackenzie, and Natalie, and he has 1 grandchild, the apple of his eye, Nova. Please welcome Henry Patterson to the Lorain Alumni Association Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Jay reminds me brevity is key, so apparently I've been known to talk a little bit. Thank you. Again, this was a completely unexpected honor. Literally, we were finishing up our final tallies and getting ready to confirm the nominees, and Sue, I believe, says, "Oh, there are 2 others." And I'm thinking, did I miss a meeting or something? I don't miss many meetings, and we learned that both myself and Tony would be included for meritorious achievement for the work we've done with the Distinguished Alumni event and this association, but also in life. So it was an honor. Thank you to the board for honoring congratulations to all the honorees. It's an honor. For me, it's been a joy to be the board chair because I'm the one that usually makes the phone call, sends the email, etc. So I don't think one person has said, oh yeah, I knew I was going to go in. Everyone says, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy. So I feel the exact same way. I'll try to keep my remarks somewhat brief with a few things. It's funny because as I looked at this and I showed my wife, Deborah, my family's in the back, my brother and sister, Kevin and Jenny, my daughters, my father-in-law, my sister-in-law, and my wonderful wife, Deb. Love you. Can you wave? Maybe she's there. So my wonderful, and by the way, we're leaving tomorrow morning for Curacao, so I'll be on an island for 7 days celebrating this achievement. But what was interesting was, that's why we're doing it. What was it? So when I showed my wife the program and she kind of looked through it, you know what she said to me? She says to me, well, good, I got to start on your obituary. I love you. I love you. True story, okay. So I want to, again, and Tony was absolutely correct, you know, when we sat around and said, we want to honor our graduates. There are so many incredible people who have come, who are still coming out of Lorain, and we need to celebrate it. And it doesn't make, this should have happened 40, 50, 80 years ago. I don't know why it took until 2017, and Tony and I went before the school board, hat in hand, could we do it? And it was a crazy idea, and we did it. And I'm so proud that we're now in our 5th year, and I hope I'm here for the 50th year. I hope this continues, and we continue to honor people. I won't be here probably. I'm pretty sure I won't be here for that. I hope that we continue to honor our graduates, because again, there are wonderful stories. But again, it's nice to see everyone come back and interact with their classmates and see the new building. But the larger message is for our kids. You know, I want our kids to see these pictures and hear these stories about how much they love Lorain and how effective their teachers were. That's the real message. So they get inspired. So when they're, you know, I was a poor kid, 21st in Oakdale is where I grew up, right? And now it's pretty rundown. It was pretty rundown back then, but I came from there, right? Many of us didn't come from much, and we've done great things. That's the message of this association and what we want to share with our kids and remind people there's great starts in Lorain City Schools, and for all Lorain City Schools. For myself, you know, I really think about, there's really 2 groups that I really tried to make sure I represented properly. The first group was my family, right? So whenever I went out in life, and I remember, you know, my dad got arrested so Henry Patterson Sr., that's why I'm Henry Patterson Jr., and I remind people that I am a junior, that, you know, he would always tell me, son, you remember, you represent the family in everything you do. And I remember that I never wanted to bring shame upon my family. So whenever I took myself out in life, I kept that in mind. So I never wanted to shame my family. My mother, Monica, who came over as a refugee from Germany. A lot of people don't know, but I'm half German. I go back 500 years of German lineage. I've got family that's still there to this day. And I was proud of that. We talked earlier about the melting pot that Lorain is. It was wonderful. Again, and in the 70s and before that, having a black father and a white mother, it was a lot harder. It really was. And we learned, we got through it. But my best friend across the street was Puerto Rican, right? We had Polish people. Who made the best pierogies, right? Who had the best baklava? You know, my point is, those are wonderful things. So as I went through life, I continue to represent my parents, right? As I look at my wife and my daughters, right? Every single day, I want to make them proud in everything that I do. And I try to, and I hope that I've lived up to that, and I continue to live up to that. The other part of what I want to represent is I represent my city, but I represent my school district. I am a very proud graduate of the Lorain City Schools. I'm a proud graduate of Admiral King High School. Give it up, Admiral King, absolutely. You'll notice this year that 7 of the alumni were from Admiral King High School. We won this year, just letting you know. But I remember, and Hawthorne, and again, from kindergarten, Mrs. Pye here, Mrs. Pye saw me when I was a 5-year-old at Hawthorne. I remember those years like it was yesterday. Proud graduate of the schools. And I remember going to the University of Toledo. And as I'm there, going through my years, and I was doing pretty well, and I remember people telling me, well, you don't understand what it's like. You went to private school. And I said, huh? Well, but this is a testament to my teachers and my families and my friends. The way that I spoke, the way that I carried myself, the way that I performed academically, that is what they thought that I went to a private school. And I always said that was a testament to my teachers. That was a testament to my family and to my friends and to who I've become. And even today, right? Today, as I've gone on, so I see Mayor Brett Jack, right? Hey, Cleveland John Marshall, we went to the meat and potatoes law school. We didn't go to Miami or Case Western Reserve, Mr. Giardini. but nonetheless, Jack, I'm sure that people, when you came in the courtroom, that Jack Bradley's tough. He was tough because he was from Lorain, all right? And so, again, I want to remind you that that's what the importance of this organization is, that we've gone on and we've done great things and we're from Lorain. I'll leave you this with two things. One's kind of comical and the other one is kind of how I live my life. I'm reminded back in 2004, I was an alternate on the Olympic team and I didn't get to go, which was horrible. Anyways, I participated in a meet. It was USA versus Russia, okay? So I go over like 5 days. I was in Moscow, which I'm glad I'm not in Moscow today. But anyways, I was in Moscow and we're over there and we have a competition and we're coming back. So the flight from Moscow to JFK is like 13 hours, right? I'm on the plane and I ended up upgrading my travel from economy to first class. If you ever have a chance to fly first class on a Russian Aeroflot Airlines, please do it. It was the most incredible experience of my life. I love it. Literally, it was the best experience ever. So I'm flying back, and there was a gentleman that was sitting right next to me in first class, and we're like pretty much in a couch. And somehow we're having this conversation back and forth. This part is the funny part. And we're talking. I don't know how it came up. This is 2004, so this may not be politically correct. Too bad. So it comes up, and somehow I learned that he is a gay man. Oh, okay, so I'm always inquisitive. Well, good, that's good for you, that's fine. And we're talking back and forth. And I remember saying to him, I said, it's kind of dangerous. People are, if you tell someone you're a gay man, people are violent, I wouldn't do such a thing. But I said, how do you go about finding, dates or interacting with, how do you do that? And he said, oh no, it's really easy for me. He says, I operate from the assumption that every man is gay until they prove me wrong. and I look at him and I said, did you think I was gay? He says, oh no, I took one look at your shoes and I knew you were not gay. True story. So that was, and so we had a great time back and forth, and we're talking about things, and he was an entrepreneur, lived in DC, but had a business in Russia. And something else he told me, and this is 2004, before I did law or a bunch of this other stuff in my life, I had a young family. But I remember him telling me this, and he said, Henry, he said, life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. Right? Think about that. Life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. There's a lot of people who are comfortable in their misery. They stay right there. It's safe, it's safe, it's safe. You know what? It was scary going to law school. It was scary starting an organization. It was scary starting a family. I try to push the envelope as much as it can. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but most of the time it does. And so that's the message I would leave for all of you and all our kids. Thank you again for this honor. Have a great day.
Tony Richardson is a 2001 graduate of Admiral King High School. During high school, Tony was actively involved in student life. He participated in the Unity Club, the Young Scholars Program, a 4-year LeCabcy honoree, and was in the National Honor Society for 2 years. Tony also excelled athletically as he was a varsity winner in football and 3-year starter and team captain for the Admirals basketball team. Following high school, Tony went to Oberlin College where he earned a bachelor's degree. Following Oberlin, he initially enrolled at Syracuse University Law School, but ultimately graduated from the Ohio State University's Michael E. Moritz College of Law. With law degree in hand, Tony returned to Lorain with the goal of making the world a better place. In 2011, he was elected to Lorain City Council as an at-large member. Richardson would be reelected in 2013 and was tapped by the Ohio State Superintendent to serve as the chairman of the Lorain Academic Distress Commission for the Lorain School District. In addition to political and board service, Tony has developed a significant employment record in the philanthropic field. Initially, he worked for the Nord Family Foundation. Tony's work has been recognized as evidenced by his 2017 Emerging Philanthropist Award and memorialized in the Chronicle of Philanthropy, the Stanford Review, and the Center for Effective Philanthropy. In 2022, Tony was selected to become president of the George Gund Foundation. This foundation, founded in 1952, supports nonprofit organizations working to address climate and environmental degradation, threats to democracy and inequity, and has given over $722 million in grants since its founding. Tony currently resides in Avon with his wife and child. Please welcome my friend and former student, Tony Richardson, to the Lorain Alumni Association Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame.
This isn't going to work, so I'll just, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to the Alumni Association team. It's truly a privilege to be here today before you all on the grounds of our former high school. To my grandma, thank you for your leadership in family and in community. And growing up, all I ever wanted to do was go to Lorain Admiral King High School. And in fact, when folks ask me what school do you go to, I say Admiral King. I don't talk about college or law school because it was here in Lorain that I developed a sense of purpose and understanding beyond who I was as an individual, and what could I do for our community? What could I do for people who look like me, who came from environments that I come from? And through that sort of devotion and sort of fire and idea of privilege to serve and be in service of people and community is what continues to ignite me and inspire me to this day. When I had an opportunity to run for public office here in the community, I spoke to my grandma and a dear friend of mine who passed away in 2020 actually, Cuddy Katanzari. At the time, she was 87 years old, and she and my grandmother did an amazing job of helping organize our community, creating candidate nights for me, allowing me to articulate my vision and my passion for this great community we live in to this day. And having a chance to serve on city council allowed me to better appreciate the challenges of this community, but it also allowed me to appreciate what's possible. So when I think about threats to our democracy, what's happening in Columbus right now, and we have an opportunity here in August at our special election to vote no for issue 1. And when we think about issue 1, for me it's not about partisanship, because we can go back to Brown v. Board of Education when we had to integrate the schools back in the 60s and 70s. And there was a 59% threshold measure that was created by the General Assembly in Mississippi for public school districts that wanted to issue new bonds. They had a 59%, right? So that was the end in that community around how do we build new schools. Majority plus 1 was no longer the threshold, and there hasn't been a new school built in black communities and for black students in that state since 1972. So when we think about what's happening in Columbus today, and our opportunity as American citizens, as Ohioans, as Lorainites, to stand up and protect our democracy, because this democracy transcends partisanship. And but for democracy, none of us would be here today, right? Number 2, we have an amazing opportunity moving forward. President Biden, our Congress, passed groundbreaking legislation. It's the biggest and largest piece of legislation in world history for climate change, addressing climate change, climate adaptation and mitigation. $394 billion. Lorain can't be left behind. So when we think about manufacturing, when we think about our infrastructure, someone referenced our lake and how this can become an attraction for tourists. Well, you know what's going to happen here in the next 50 years. It won't just be tourists coming here. The world will be migrating here because of climate and our freshwater deposit. So as we sit here at our school district, how are we preparing our students? How are we preparing each other? How are we getting the word out? Because what's coming is here, right? And Lorain has an opportunity from manufacturing, clean energy, solar. We could become the model for how you transition from sort of industrial manufacturing to clean energy manufacturing. Lorain has that opportunity. And I'll just end on this note. Shirley Chisholm, first African-American woman elected to U.S. Congress, said service is the rent we pay for the privilege of living on earth. Right? Service, it's through our service, that's the rent we pay for the privilege of being here. So when we think about, our, in my mind, civic duty, to be informed as citizenry, to get out, to vote. I'm not telling you how to vote, but we gotta participate. There are countries and people around the world who don't have that opportunity, don't have that privilege, don't have that right. And so as I think about our distinguished alumni, I said, look at Tony Giardini, who's been a mentor and close friend for me, Mr. Bradley, who, by the way, I actually saw your granddaughter on spring break this year. True story, so his granddaughter and my daughter are classmates. And we were in DC, actually Alexandria, and we're going to get ice cream. And I see Roma come, I said, is this Roma? I'm in DC, I'm like, what are you doing here? And so she's like, Zuri's dad. And so our daughters saw each other, and it was just amazing. And I always think about Lorain and how all paths lead to Lorain and Lorain people. Mr. Ferguson, it was when I took your Algebra 2 honors course that I realized I could take any course and be successful at it. And as a basketball coach, I mean, you've played a huge role in my life, and I think about all the people here today that have touched, influenced, inspired, checked me, pushed back at me, and challenged me to be a better person. I want to thank you all, thank the district, thank everyone that's a part of this committee, and I look forward to the next years of other alumni. Thank you.
Dr. Stephen Sturgill, who most affectionately referred to as Coach Sturge, has been a longtime member of the educational fabric in Lorain and has recently been developing a leadership role within multiple veterans organizations. Dr. Sturgill attended Admiral King High School, graduating in 1990. As an admiral, he played basketball in the Schott Palace and earned a basketball scholarship to Heidelberg, where he played for 1 year. But like most, his post-secondary plans changed, and he began his second year attending Ashland University at Lorain Community College. While an undergraduate, Stephen enlisted in the Ohio Army National Guard in July 1994, serving for over 23 years. He credits this experience as pivotal. He would often talk about how the Army has helped him mature and become goal-focused. He graduated from Ashland University as an intervention specialist, teaching students with learning disabilities and developmental handicaps, first in Cleveland Heights for 2 years, and then in 1998 he was able to return to his alma mater to teach and coach. While teaching and coaching, Stephen began his studies in educational administration, receiving his master's degree in May 2000. In June of 2001, began his administrative career as an assistant principal, became building administrator, and eventually a small schools principal. In 2006, Stephen earned his doctorate in instructional educational leadership. While completing all of these accomplishments, Stephen married his lifelong sweetheart, Nicole Ramsey Sturgill, Lorain High, 1994, another one of my students. Wrote a children's book, had 3 children, Brandon, Justin, and Andriana, and climbed the ranks within the Ohio National Guard. In 1993, Stephen deployed as squad leader under Operation Noble Eagle from January through December of 2003. In September 2005, his company was called up to assist with efforts following the devastation from Hurricane Katrina. Stephen gained the rank of platoon leader when deployed for Operation Iraqi Freedom. While serving in Kandahar provinces, his rank and responsibilities grew from platoon leader to executive officer, then company commander. Stephen returned from this second deployment overseas in 2014 and retired as movement chief officer in August 2016. During those deployments, when stationed stateside, Stephen continued to work with Lorain City Schools. He was director of curriculum and instruction, assistant superintendent, and when he returned from Kandahar, he continued as assistant superintendent, but also served 1 year as interim principal at Lorain High School. Dr. Sturgill did explore other opportunities by serving 3 years as chief of staff for Sandusky Schools. However, he came back to his heart at Lorain City Schools and currently serves as the executive director of wraparound services and operations. Dr. Sturgill remains active with veterans organizations throughout Lorain, serving on the board of the Italian American Veterans Post. He's also active within Disabled American Veterans and is the secretary for the Lorain Veterans Association. In May of this year, Dr. Sturgill was awarded the Veteran of the Year by the Lorain Veterans Council. Please welcome Dr. Stephen Sturgill to the Lorain Alumni Association Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame. His son, Justin Sturgill, will accept for him as he is out of the country.
Yes, as you can tell, I am not Dr. Stephen Sturgill, I am his son. My sister was here, Adriana. However, she had to go to work, so she wanted to apologize for that, just for that. But I'll read his speech that he has for you guys. Distinguished guests and a fellow alumni, I stand before you today with immense gratitude and pride, so I accept the Distinguished Alumni Award. This recognition is not just a personal honor, it is a testament to the transformative power of education, military service, and the many opportunities both have provided me. I am deeply humbled to join the ranks of exceptional individuals who have received this prestigious distinction today and before me. First and foremost, I would like to express my heartfelt appreciation to all staff and students in Lorain City Schools and the soldiers in the Army that I have served with. They have nurtured my growth, shaped my character, and equipped me with the skills to navigate the ever-changing world we live in. Without the unwavering dedication of the Army soldiers I served with, the tireless support of the LCS staff, and an unwavering belief in our potential, I would not be standing here today. I must also recognize the pivotal role played by my family in my personal and professional journey. Their unwavering support, encouragement, and love has been my pillars of strength. This award is as much a celebration of their love and sacrifice as it is of my own accomplishments. Education is the foundation upon which dreams are built, and it opens doors endless possibilities. It is not just about acquiring knowledge, it is about fostering critical thinking, cultivating empathy, and igniting a passion for lifelong learning. I have worked tirelessly to become an agent of change, to challenge the status quo, and to strive for excellence in everything I do. It is incumbent upon us to create opportunities for others, to mentor and support aspiring students, and to champion the values of education and lifelong learning. As I accept this Distinguished Alumni Award, I do so with immense gratitude, but also with a renewed sense of purpose. This recognition is not an endpoint. It is a reminder that the journey is ongoing. It is a call to action, an invitation to continue pushing boundaries, and a reminder that we have a responsibility to leave a lasting impact on the world. Thank you once again for the prestigious honor. I am truly grateful for the opportunities that have been provided to me, and I'm committed to making a difference in the lives of others. And I would also like to say I'm very proud of my father. He works very hard, day in and day out, and I couldn't be more proud to look up to somebody like him. So thank you.
Carl Cicerrella was a lifelong resident of Lorain. He graduated from Admiral King High School in 1965. In high school, Carl enjoyed singing in the choir. He was a drummer in his band, the Lonely Hearts. They played and entertained around Lorain County at family holidays and for special occasions. He continued his education at Bowling Green State University, earning a bachelor's degree in comprehensive science in 1970. During his tenure as a teacher, he completed his master's degree in school administration. Mr. C, as he was best known by his students, taught science and chemistry at Southview High School in Lorain for 35 years. It was my privilege to be up there with him for a part of those. He developed and taught curriculum for the integrated science program for magnet students. Mr. C was also the advisor of the Key Club from 1995 to 2005. During this time, they won 7 national awards for the abundant amount of community service the Key Club provided. He and the Key Club supported Carol's Kids and Camp Ideas, which services children with special needs. While teaching, he enjoyed attending all events and tutoring students. He remained dedicated to students and staff even after his retirement. He served on the Principal's Advisory Board for numerous years in support of fellow colleagues. He further advocated for the children of Lorain and Lorain schools by running for the school board. At his initial attempt in running for office, he won and was the first retired teacher in years to win a position on the school board. Unfortunately, Carl's untimely death in 2006 ended his tenure on the board. Carl was married to his wife Anna for 34 years. Together they have 3 children, Monica Rapidus, Carl Michael, and James Cicerrella, along with 2 grandchildren. Both of his grandchildren earned the Dr. Cicerrella scholarships for outstanding community service in the Lorain High School Key Club. Alex Cicerrella in 2016 and Ashley Cicerrella in 2017 as an honorary member as a graduate of Avon High School. Mr. C advocated, and I will add, devoted to his students and served as a mentor to so many. He had a wealth of stories to share from his life and worked to establish meaningful connections with each of his students. Carl Cicerrella stood for many things, but there are 2 that he believed the most. Never be afraid of accepting a challenge and do what you can to make a difference. Please welcome distinguished educator Carl Cicerrella to the Lorain Alumni Association Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame. Accepting will be his daughter, Monica Rapidus.
There's nothing worse than being last.
That's a good thing because he would have talked to everybody all day.
Use his words.
I apologize. First, I didn't know I was supposed to do a speech, but here I am again. We're very honored, my family, to receive this, and thank you for the nomination. Usually I'm the one following behind on his heels, and he's up here, but today I have to stand with him beside me. He dedicated his entire career, definitely to his students. He never believed a student would fail. He always made sure that he encouraged them and inspired them, even his colleagues at times. He made that difference in all the students' lives here in Lorain. He instilled faith in yourself, never back away from a challenge, and do what you can to make a difference. I'm proud that he's my dad. I was very close to him still to this day. He inspires me. But behind all of his hard work is my mom, the great lady that he married, who couldn't be here because she's not feeling well. In my eyes, he was always brilliant. I never thought that there would be anything I could teach my dad. But one thing that I did, Ron Major was going to be leaving Southview, and he was our Key Club advisor at the time. And so he went to talk to my dad, and my dad told him no. So Ron came up to me and said, I know you're going into your senior year, I need you to talk to your dad. And so I did, and I promised my dad, if you take the Key Club, it's my senior year, once I graduate, I will help you with it forever, and he did hold me to that promise. He did, and I know if he was here, he'd be here till 4 o'clock talking, but I have special memories of Key Club. That entire year of all the things I never thought I would have to teach my dad. I taught him the ins and outs of Key Club. And he took it to the next level. It exceeded everyone's expectations. He ended up having the largest number of students that were in the club, but not only for Key Club, he supported all the clubs in the school. He always made sure that his students weren't biased to ones, that they needed to be everywhere and they needed to contribute to the community, which he did very well. When he won some of his national awards, he was quoted saying that it takes more than good grades to succeed in life, which it does. People look at your community service, and he said the students thrive on that. And I never saw him be afraid of anything, but I can tell you this too, when he ran for the school board. My dad had so much confidence. And I realize now that he really had a lot of confidence in me. He was afraid that he was not going to even have any votes for the school board. And you know what? I think it's because he was so dedicated. I mean, day and night, 5 o'clock in the morning, getting up, working on his schoolwork, making his own tests, going above and beyond to make sure his students succeeded, writing his letters of recommendation to colleges, which when he passed away, we noticed in 1 year, he did over 150 recommendations a year, and he wasn't able to type. That's where I came in. So see a little partnership there. But he made me realize too, it's okay to be afraid, it's okay to fail, because with that you're gonna learn and you're gonna build yourself even better. You're gonna make mistakes, sometimes they're not gonna be the greatest. But he encouraged every one of his students, and it showed when he ran for the school board. He had so much pride here in Lorain, and his students, and his staff, everybody that he came across. He always had that helping hand. He even took on Lorain Catholic's Key Club as their temporary advisor so that they could have a club and run with them. And I'm sure he would be proud of everybody here today too, if he could be here. So, thank you.
As our program comes to a conclusion, I'd just like to remind you, as Tony Giardini said and others echoed, there are so many wonderful things going on in Lorain schools. And I'm around here quite a bit as a spouse of a faculty member and a member of the school board. And we still have amazing kids in Lorain. Thank you. The future is bright. We need to be able to make sure, and I believe that Dr. Graham and his administration are committed to making sure that the supports are put in place for these students to succeed the way the people in this room have succeeded and go on to do great things, whether it's in the community of Lorain or as a representative of Lorain in the greater world. So, alums, your legacy is safe, and I thank you all for coming this morning and helping to honor those of us who were fortunate enough to be recognized, and go forth and enjoy the International Festival while the weather's still good. Have a great day. If there is anybody that would like a brief tour of this facility, Dr. Patterson here has volunteered to serve as a guide.